Hey everybody, Vicki here, and welcome to Training Thursdays, which we do every single Thursday at 3 p.m. And as you're jumping on, make sure that you say hello. Even if you're watching the replay, let me know that you are here and where you're from and, anything like that. Leave me an emoji, you know how much I like those. So today we are going to be talking about the 10 big lies that you're told about writing and selling your books. I want to take those and chuck them out the window. Let's just get those all out of the way so that you can just move on with your life and business and start using your book, writing it, and growing everything. All right, so let me double check. I always want to double check, make sure that we are live streaming in the right place. Today I had to re-record something like 50 times. Okay, slight exaggeration. 3 times I had to re-record it because my computer is running out of space. So I'm really glad that this live stream happens on Facebook and I don't have to worry about having to have enough space on my computer. But geez, the next time I get a computer, I have got to get more space. I don't know, it's probably because I use just so many videos and I do so many videos and then I edit so many videos and they're probably twice on my computer. And anyways, deleted a whole bunch of stuff from 2014 from when I was doing wellness and stuff and those courses and videos. But anyways, that's not what we're talking about today. Let's get going with the 10 lies that you have been told about selling books and writing them, because it's about both, right? Number 1, and these aren't necessarily in order, they're kind of in order, like number 1 kind of gets my goat. Number 10, kind of gets my goat, so that's why I put it as number 10. But let's talk about these, all right? Number 1, if I want my book to be very valuable, I have to put everything I know into it, okay? So I want to see comments as you're going through this. Again, if you're watching the replay, that's all right. I want to see the comments. Is this you? Do you think that you have to put everything you know, do a whole brain dump into your book so that it's going to be like the best thing ever? It's like we think we have that one shot to get everything out there, like, oh my gosh, they've got to know this about me and this about me, and I got to share my knowledge here and share my knowledge there, right? And when you do that, it's going to end up being way too huge, totally unfocused, and off on a gazillion rabbit trails. If you really want your book to be valuable, put small snippets of what you know really well into it and make that one book. If you have things that are kind of tied together and you know a lot about a bunch of things about that thing, create a series of books, right? You don't have to brain dump everything. Now, if you're somebody who's thinking, gosh, I'm really only going to want to write one book because this sounds terrifying, or I don't think I'm ever, if I get past the first book, that's going to be a miracle. So you're thinking you probably are going to only write one book. And I got to tell you that, and I don't know if this is any comfort at all, but all the writers that I have helped have actually said, you know what? The process that we go through, the process that I help them with has been so enjoyable that they're like, I thought I was going to only write one book, but now with these other ideas that I have, I know that I can write more than one book and keep going and write. Gosh, that's why I have 6 books out, and the one that just came out this last week, I literally did that in under 2 weeks. I was talking to one of my mastermind partners today, and he was actually telling me that he thinks that I actually did it in less than a week. But anyways, I had a different idea before the book that I just put out, but I skipped that idea, did this one instead, because I felt like it was more imperative, more urgent for me to get this one out. So I might have one more in there. I keep saying, I just only have one more, and then you'll come up with something else. So here's the thing. Your book is going to be valuable. You don't have to put everything in it. It's actually better if it's short and to the point. That's why I'm always talking about short reads, okay? Number 1 lie. Number 2 lie. Writing a book takes a long time if I want it to be good. It has to be hard, like everyone's telling me. If it comes too easy, then it must not be good enough or right. I mean, I think we hear all these horror stories, right? We don't necessarily hear about the people who did get their book done in a week or did it in a weekend or 2 days or whatever it is. You know, we don't hear those stories as much. We hear the stories about, oh my gosh, it's been 10 years. And, you know, I had a client like that too. It took him 10 years because it wasn't focused. You know, when you know what you're writing about, when you know there's an urgency, when you know there's a real reason to write it, when you know that people are out there suffering because you haven't written your book, it becomes more urgent. And then you're like, okay, I got to hit this deadline. I got to do this. I got to make sure this happens, right? And that's when it becomes easy, enjoyable, flows to your head. Because when you're unfocused and you don't know exactly what you're going to put in the book, of course, it's kind of all over the place, and you change your mind and you switch gears and you're like, well, maybe this is better or maybe that's better. And, you know, in order to get that focus, you really have to know what you want that book to give you in the end. What is the reader going to take action on? What product is your book going to sell? You know, because we're writing business books. We're not writing fiction here, right? We're not writing memoirs. We are writing business books that are going to help us grow our business and get more clients. The way that you get that is to be focused on what is the reader going to take action on next by reading my book. And when you know that, and you know there's like money at the end of the pot, that really gets your urgency going to get it done, right? I actually have had my book funnel, parts of my book funnel, done prior to this hit published book going out, because I already knew at the end what I want that reader to take action on after they finish reading my book, right? I got it done in 6 days, I'm telling you. Okay, so number 3, if I don't have a big list of followers, I can't get to bestseller. Nope. Now, here's the thing. Having a list and having a list of 10,000 people is definitely great. And one of my clients has a list like that, maybe more than 10, maybe more like 20,000 people. And I will tell you, yeah, it was easier. Definitely easier. I'm not going to lie to you that it's not easier. But if you don't have a list of followers, doesn't mean that you can't get to bestseller. I have people who, you know, had almost 0 people on their list and they still got to bestseller because there's a plan, there's a marketing, there's a promotion. You're going to encourage people and pull them in from social media and other places, because these can be strangers who are buying your book. They don't have to already be on your list. Guess what? Your book is going to introduce you to them, and then they're going to be part of your community, right? Okay, number 4. People will only think my book is worth buying if it's like 200 pages or more. We've got this crazy idea in the world that bigger is better, right? Wrong, 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 wrong. Even with videos like what I'm doing right now, right? And people look at videos and they're like, okay, it's 2 or 3 minutes or 5 minutes. Okay, I have time while I'm brushing my teeth or getting ready in the morning to listen to it. Cool beans, right? I'm going to click yes, let's listen to what she's got to say. But if your video is like 30, 40, 50 minutes long, it's more like a training course, and people are like, oh gosh, maybe I'll save that, I'll bookmark it for later, but I don't have time right now. I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to pick up the kids, I got to talk to a client, I have to make dinner, you know, all those kinds of things happen. And this is the same thing that happens with a book. Again, goes back to the short read. It's more valuable for somebody to actually be able to consume the content, right? Somebody with a 200 or 300 page book, they're going to think, okay, I'll set it off, I'll put it to the side, I'll do something with it later. And then the problem is your really, really juicy good information is not getting to them. It's like gotten to their front door and then, you know, they don't actually get it. So when you write it and you chunk it out and you make it easy to consume, they're going to want it more. And bigger is not better. You don't have to have 200 pages, okay? Number 5, when I put my book out, if I write it well, everyone's going to like it. Ruh-roh. If you think all you have to do is just make sure the grammar is right, that the syntax is good, that the content flows, blah, blah, blah. You could have the best book out there, and there's going to be somebody who doesn't like it. I mean, if you think about it, right? We all have opinions about something. Even some of the classics, and I know we're talking about nonfiction, but talk about some of the fiction books, right? Charles Dickens, right? Tale of Two Cities. Some people love it, some people don't. George Orwell, Animal Farm. Some people love it, some people don't. Jane Austen, Pride and Prejudice. Some people love it, some people don't. The Great Gatsby. It's like there's all these books and everybody has an opinion. Doesn't matter if it's perfectly crafted, that it's a classic, that, it's just so awesome. Your book is never going to be for everyone. In fact, it shouldn't be for everyone. Because, when it's for everyone, it's for no one, right? It's the same thing in business as it is with your book. You cast your net too wide and you get nobody. You get absolutely nobody. So you don't have to be so concerned about if somebody's going to like it, if they won't like it. The people who it's meant for are going to love it. And that's all that you need to hang your hat on and be happy about and worry about. If somebody says something that's negative, who cares? It wasn't for them. I know it does hurt, and it's happened to me, and you'll get over it just like everything else, right? Okay, number 6. Hey, pop on too. I'm not seeing any comments, so pop on and let me know what you're thinking so far. Number 6, the only way to hit bestseller is if I give my book away for free on Amazon. Not so much. So yeah, okay, here's the truth about that. There are some people out there who are teaching and sharing and saying that, the best way to get your book to be a bestseller is for free on Amazon. Now, I personally think that it's better, and I don't know that anybody's really asked, okay, but I think it's better to hit bestseller in a paid category instead of a free one. So that's what I teach my clients to do. We put marketing plans together that are for paid promotions. Okay? Now, you can do something free. You can go ahead and try, whatever. There are other people saying that that's how they did it, which is perfectly fine, right? But for me, what I recommend and what I teach my clients is to do it in a paid category. All right, number 7. Having your book on Amazon means getting sales automatically. Very sad, because this is what I thought with my first book. I thought, you know what? Amazon's on my side, right? They want to sell books, right? Sure, they do. But they also want to sell books that they think people are going to like. So you may have seen if you're subscribed to Amazon, that they have those recommendations, and you'll get them in your email, and they'll say, you chose such and such book. Other people who chose that book also like blah, 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 right? And this is why getting reviews is important. And Amazon will look and say, okay, this book has been selling well, so I'm going to promote that, So if you aren't the top dog on Amazon, they aren't pushing your book out to their followers because they have so many choices to choose from. So just merely having your book on Amazon isn't going to mean that all of a sudden they're going to be showing it to people and saying, here, go buy this book. They want to know that what they're doing, because this is a reflection of their business. Just like when you go and apply for a conference to speak at, right? You have to take the angle of, all right, what is in it for the conference coordinator? Most people are usually, and here, this is like a little side bonus coaching here. Usually people are concerned with what is the audience going to get out of it, all that, and that is good. However, the conference coordinator wants you to make them look good. This is their job. So you being a speaker, right, is a reflection on them. They have to choose the right speaker. Just Amazon has to choose the right book. It's a reflection of their business. They want to be sure that the world is going to love it. So when you hit bestseller, that's great. They might start to think, okay, yeah, that's perfect. And of course, they have some silly algorithm going on over there that who knows what it is. But just by having it on Amazon isn't going to do anything for you. You've got to learn to leverage it. You've got to learn to put things in it properly so that those readers are going to turn into clients later. Okay? All right, number 8. Once I hit bestseller, the books will just keep selling on their own. So this kind of goes with number 7. You know, you hit that bestseller and you're thinking, sky's the limit. I'm just going to hang out here and it's going to keep going. There's angry faces coming by and there's sad faces coming by. Okay, now this is where I talk about movies all the time, right? I love Star Wars. I love stuff like that. What happens after the box smash, you know, the box office smash, right? You have that day when there's like all these people buying and they're like, yes, yes, yes. It's a hit, just like your bestseller. The next day, what happens? Fewer people go. The next day, what happens? Fewer people go. The next day, what happens? Even fewer. A week or 2 later, they're talking about a different movie by now, right? You're not even on their mind anymore. So when you hit bestseller, hey Edith, thank you. When you hit bestseller, you've got to have a marketing plan in place to continue to be top of mind, continue to get out there, continue to use your book. And that is the way it's going to stay on top. If you just, done with your promotion, I hit bestseller, then, you know, that's exactly what's going to happen. Okay? It's going to just go down from there. All right. Number 9. I can just sell books as my business model. Okay, this is where people think that their book is actually the end product. And the problem with that is that we're entrepreneurs, we're not authors. So I'll say sometimes, you know, that we're entrepreneur authors. Now, authors have a totally different business model than entrepreneurs. Authors are out there, you know, J.K. Rowling, she lives off of books. That's cool. That's her business model. But for entrepreneurs like us, where we have like coaching and group programs and other things, that's not our business model. Just purely selling books, we've gone over this 35-cent royalty thing, right? It's like 3,500 books you have to sell every month to get to 10K. Like, where are you going to find 3,500 different people every single month to buy your book off Amazon, right? So you've got to do it a different way. You have to think like an entrepreneur who is using their book to grow their business. And that's the model that you need to go with. If you're just going to sell books, then you're an author, which is okay. You know, if that's what you choose, that's fine. I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. But if you're an entrepreneur and you want to grow your business and you want to get those coaching clients, selling your book isn't the business model. That's part of the funnel that gets them to buy your product at the end. Okay? All right, number 10, drum roll. Getting a publisher is going to solve all my problems. They'll just sell the books for me. Oh my gosh, if I had $1 or a dime for every time I heard this. Okay, here's the thing about publishers these days, right? You have to pitch the publisher for one. And the publisher is depending on you to sell some books. They are going to promote-ish, but part of your pitch is going to be, yeah, I got 10,000 followers. Yep, I have this huge list. Oh, I think I can sell 1,000 books. I can sell 2,500 books. I can sell 5,000 books. I can sell whatever, because publishers are in this for profit. If they think that your book has a good title, a good topic, you know, whatever, that's fantastic to them, and they need to know that this book is actually going to sell. They expect you to sell it through your extended community, your tribe, your family, and all that stuff. They expect that as part of the pitch. So they're not going to be like, ooh, yeah, we love that topic and we can sell a bazillion for you. That's not going to happen, all right? So the publisher doesn't actually solve your problem. In fact, having a publisher means that your book is going to take longer to get out there, and they have a say into what your content is, what your title is, what your cover looks like, and all those things. So they're going to delay it and give you input, and they might even tell you to cut things out. I've heard that from other friends of mine where, you know, they didn't like this or that. And Brendon Burchard actually talks about his Golden Ticket book, where when it first came out, you know, he pitched it to a bunch of different places. Finally, a smaller publisher picked it up, and they didn't want to do the book like he wanted it done. And of course, this was his first book. He didn't have a whole lot of money to put into it or anything. Like the Golden Ticket, it like opens up now. Like the latest version of the Golden Ticket book from Brendon Burchard, it actually opens up, you take the book out, and in the back, it actually has an envelope with a ticket inside. Like, you're not supposed to open that. Like, I was like, oh gosh, Brendon, why did you do that? Because I'm the type of person who really, really, really just wants to get to the end of the book and open the ticket in the back. Like, seriously, that was like, oh. And he says, don't open it. Anyways, this was how the book was printed and how he wanted it done in the first place. But when he had a publisher the first time, he wasn't able to do it. Now that he's, you know, a big deal, he can do whatever he wants, and he can, you know, get whoever he wants to publish his books, and he can tell them, I want it like this. All right. So having a publisher does not solve your problems at all. Now, I want to tell you some statistics, and this is not to scare you. This is just to put you into some reality. And I honestly, reality is just, I hate being realistic. Like, that's like one of my pet peeve words, is being realistic. My mom used to say, Vicki, would you just be more realistic? Well, I don't want to be realistic. I want to dream big, aim big, go big. But I think that you guys do need to know some of the statistics. Now, these are slightly old, but I'm just going to go with them anyway because it's what I found. That's what Brian Tracy shares, is the average nonfiction book sells 250 copies per year. So like, let's say you decide that you actually want to be that author. You don't want to be an entrepreneur anymore, and you're just going to be an author. And the average nonfiction book sells 250 copies per year. They sell less than 2,000 in its lifetime. Yeah, right? And 62 out of 1,000 business books actually sell more than 5,000 copies. Now, granted, you know, I talk about 35-cent royalties. That's if you're selling your book for 99 cents. So if you're selling it for $10 or $15 or whatever it is, maybe you're making $7, all right? But gosh, $7, 5,000 copies, $35,000, and how many years is it going to take you to sell 5,000 copies and be one of the 62 out of 1,000 business books that sells that statistic, right? So what does this really mean for you? What do these statistics really mean? It means that you've got to have a plan. You have to have a strategy. You have to have this accountability, get guidance, and be super connected to your why so you can finish your book, first of all. Have that vision for your book. Know what it attaches to, so that when you're done with it, you can put it in a funnel. You can like blow these statistics out of the water, right? So that you can sell that 250 copies in 1 month versus per year, okay? That's what you need to do with these statistics. And you've got to stand out. You have to leverage your community. You have to master promotion. You have to really hone in on your message and your marketing. You have to know exactly who you're talking to, what they're going to get at the end. Of course, be you in the meantime. Share your story. Be vulnerable. And like we've talked about through many of these lives, keep your book short and value-packed. That's how this book is really going to help you to grow your business. And all of that comes from putting together a whole entire system from when you start writing your book all the way through how you're going to sell it, how you're going to get it into the hands of others. You might not sell it. Your plan might be, let me do a funnel and a Facebook ad that I'm going to give my book away for free. And that's going to lead them to a webinar. It might lead them to a course that you upsell them on. It might lead them to a one-on-one discovery session with you, and you make money on the back end. You might not be selling them. You might be giving it away for free after it becomes a bestseller, because guess what? When somebody says, I'm going to give you my best-selling book for free, it actually sounds pretty enticing, right? Or you can do it a different way, where it's like, okay, I'm going to give my book to you for a discounted price. On Amazon, it's $10. I'm going to give it to you for $5. And, you know, they go through your funnel that way. It can get kind of complicated. That's not what this training is about. It's not about funnels, but There are so many different ways. What I'm telling you is there's so many different ways to blow these statistics out of the water when you really get clear on what this book is going to do for you, your reader, and how you're going to use it to grow your business. And when you get that clarity and that focus, it's like, oh, you feel it in your heart, like, oh my gosh, I really got to get this book out now because it's going to do this, 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 and this. Not just going to help the reader, it's going to entice them to work with me, it's going to grow my business, it's going to grow my reach. All this stuff is going to happen. It's going to help me get speaking gigs. I'm going to have all these opportunities, right? When you see everything that it'll do for you, then it's like, oh, it cannot take 10 years, right? You get focused, you get clear, and then you write it. Okay, so those are the 10 lies, and wow, I haven't seen any questions come up, so I guess I was totally crystal clear. And yeah, tell me what you think. If you're watching the replay, let me know. And if there are no questions, then I will leave you to have a fantastic rest of your Thursday. And I am actually recording a 5-part course, so I'm going to go finish that up. And that's it. All right, talk to you later. Bye.